my friend. That means a lot. Since you've given me full creative control, I'm going to let the story breathe like a real novel. Chapter 5 is where the first threads of the mystery begin to appear. But quietly. Maria is still trying to convince herself that if she just pays attention, she can stop Christmas from ever becoming the day she remembers. Here's Chapter 5. Chapter 5. The first domino. Winter slowly gave way to spring. The mornings grew brighter. The frost disappeared from the rooftops. Birdsong replaced the bitter silence that had filled the January air. Life carried on exactly as it always had. School, homework, family dinners, weekends spent together. To everyone else, 2019 was simply another year. To Maria, every sunrise was one day closer to Christmas. She kept a small calendar hidden inside her wardrobe. Every evening before bed, she crossed off another day. Not because she wanted time to pass. Because she needed to know how much time she had left. One Saturday morning, June asked Maria to walk into town with her. "We need a few things for dinner." Maria smiled. "I'd like that." They walked side by side through the busy high street. The market was full of people. Children chased pigeons across the square. An old man played a violin outside the bakery. For a while, neither of them spoke. June finally broke the silence. "You've changed." Maria's heart skipped. "I have? You seem older somehow." Maria looked ahead. "I've just been thinking more." June laughed softly. "I noticed." After another few steps, she added, "You also hug me a lot more." Maria smiled. "I didn't realize." "I'm not complaining." June slipped her arm through Maria's. "I quite like it." Maria had to blink away tears before June could notice. On their way home, they stopped at a pedestrian crossing. A little girl stood beside them, holding her father's hand. She couldn't have been more than 5. She smiled up at Maria. "I like your coat," Maria smiled back. "Thank you." The traffic lights changed. Everyone began crossing. Halfway across the road, a cyclist came around the corner too quickly. The little girl let go of her father's hand. Everything seemed to slow down. Maria remembered, not this exact moment, but the feeling, the sudden certainty. She stepped forward and gently caught the little girl's arm before she wandered into the cyclist's path. The cyclist swerved at the last second. "I'm so sorry," he called. The father pulled his daughter into a hug. "Thank you," Maria nodded. It was nothing. But inside, she knew it wasn't. That was twice now. Twice she had remembered something moments before it happened. That evening, she sat alone in her room. The phone rested beside her. She unlocked it. Still? 93%. She searched through old photographs again, not looking for memories, looking for clues. She zoomed into backgrounds, street signs, cars, shop windows, dates, anything. There had to be something she'd overlooked. Then she noticed it. A photograph of Buddy blowing out birthday candles in 2024. Behind him, pinned to the fridge with a magnet, was a folded piece of paper. Only a tiny corner was visible. Most people would never have noticed it. Maria zoomed in. The picture became blurry, but one word could still be read. March. She frowned. March? Why did that matter? She looked at today's date. March 12th, 2019. A strange feeling settled over her, almost like she was forgetting something important. The next afternoon, Toklim asked Tommy to help him clean out the garden shed. Buddy insisted on helping, which mostly involved pretending an old rake was a sword. Crystal sat beneath the apple tree reading. Susie and Stacy argued over whose turn it was to cook dinner. It felt wonderfully ordinary. Maria carried a box of old flower pots towards the compost heap. Then she heard it. A sharp crack. She looked up. One of the wooden shelves inside the shed had broken free from the wall. Heavy paint tins slid towards Buddy. Time slowed. "Buddy?" Maria dropped everything. She sprinted across the garden. Without thinking, she shoved Buddy backwards. The paint tins crashed onto the concrete floor exactly where he'd been standing. Blue paint exploded across the shed. Everyone froze. Buddy stared at the mess. Then at Maria. "You pushed me." Maria struggled to catch her breath. "They would have hit you." Toklim looked at the broken shelf. His face had gone pale. "She's right." He knelt beside Buddy. "If Maria hadn't moved you..." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. June wrapped an arm around Maria. "How did you know the shelf was going to fall?" Maria opened her mouth. Nothing came out. She couldn't tell them the truth. She couldn't explain that she'd seen flashes of moments like this before, tiny pieces of the future trying to warn her. She swallowed. I just saw it moving. Toklim looked back at the shelf. For a moment, he seemed unsure. Not because he doubted Maria, because he wasn't convinced he'd seen the shelf move before it fell. That night, long after everyone else had gone to bed, Maria couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. 3 times. 3 moments she'd changed. The boy chasing the football, the little girl at the crossing, Buddy in the shed. The future could be changed, but each memory had come only seconds before it happened. Why? Why not months before? Why not the Christmas accident itself? She stared out of her bedroom window. The moon hung low above the rooftops. The house was silent. For the first time since returning to 2019, Maria wondered if she wasn't remembering the future at all. Perhaps the future was remembering her. She shivered. It sounded impossible, yet nothing about her life was ordinary anymore. Somewhere, hidden among the days ahead, was the first domino that would eventually lead to Christmas. She just didn't know which one it was, and time never stopped moving. I think Chapter 6 is where the pace starts to shift. We'll begin introducing small events that don't